Okay, today we are back with our much awaited True Digital Startup Global Investors and Venture Capitalists which they call. I am Major General Setia. I'm a veteran of 40 years from the Army. In this evolving ecosystem of, it's a fast-paced ecosystem of startups that me and Sanjeev and our team have been making a very founders of some startups to get funding and convert their ideas into businesses. Our contribution to this dream of Atmanirbhar. We also are very grateful to all the investors who've been joining our calls. They have been very encouraging forward movements in their deliberations with the founders and some deals. Today we have three mentors who joined us. Shekhar has already introduced himself. We all are aware the contribution that Mr. Dugbandhu Rath, a former Chief General Manager of the State Bank of India and a seasoned banker, has had in our pitch day calls. He has also been the MD, the Managing Director of Gujarat Venture, and has been very kind to be. We can only say that his very sensible advice infuses a lot of confidence amongst the founders. We'll request him to continue rendering this advice. Mr. Rath, would you like to say a few words before we go on to Dominic, who's joined us today?
No, thank you for.
I'm sure you will render all the good advice during the presentation by the founder.
Let us have a look at the presentation, then
we
can contribute.
We were also, we'll also welcome Mr. Dominic, who's the founder and CEO of Technetics Consulting Private Limited.
Yes.
It's called Technetics. Yeah.
That's right.
He's focused on entrepreneurship, public policy, cyber security, artificial intelligence, machine learning, mediation, and arbitration. I'm certain he will have some meaningful advice for the founders today. Dominic, would you like to say something or during the course of the presentations?
Request if you want to everybody for the grateful to everybody for the invitation. And drones as well now, but I would love to hear the entrepreneurs today because they can speak a lot more. It's their platform, so we will listen to them and then take it from there.
So welcome. Startups who are going to do the presentations. The first founder who will make his presentation for the next 12 to 15 minutes is Mr. Kevin Kumar Pandasamy, whose startup My Traction First has had the privilege of presenting the Indian startups at the recently held World Economic Forum at Davos. The startup is in the clean tech sector. It's innovative, simple, sustainable technology which has great potential for growth. The second founder for today is Mr. Sanjeev Sinha, the CEO of True Digital Startup himself, who will make a presentation on his pitch deck for the last 2 years and with his startup. The idea behind a startup is to be the enabling force for startups to grow into great businesses by facilitating their funding by the investors. Today, the startup sits on a repository of 395 great technological innovation businesses. Before we go ahead with the presentation from Kevin, I will just like to, lay down a few ground rules. Digital startup does not take the responsibility for any comments which may not be palatable or acceptable to someone. We would like to disassociate ourselves from such comments. Last time we had a instance where someone made a very personal comment. So we, as a startup, because I'm the host and the mediator, we would like to make this very clear that those are not on our behest, and we would like to disassociate ourselves from such personal comments if someone during the course of the call today makes such presents. Then, like Sanjeev told you, we'll be recording this call. Between the two presentations, we need a small break of a minute when he sets up the recording, because he does the recording in almost 3 or 4 parts. And the intent of the recording, as I always tell presentation, we keep a record of it. Besides that, we put it on our platform so that everyone can have a look at the presentations if you want to see it subsequently. If you go to our site, you will see that whatever the past events are there, he has beautifully placed all these calls and you can see it on the YouTube. Myself also gone through some of the pitch decks that I could not understand during the pitch deck call on the day they were made. And we'll have them at the end of the presentation by the founder. Timings, because what happens, degeneration of the interest, let everyone stick to the timings. We have 12 to 15 minutes of presentation by both the founders, and then we'll have 2 to 5 minutes of question and answers. Don't worry if no one asks you a question. Like I said right in the beginning, we wish to thank all our investors who join us on the call. Most of them remain quiet during the presentations, and then they come up subsequently and ask us a lot of questions. If anyone has any very intricate questions, you can write to us at co@tdstartup.com. We will be able to connect you to the founder and get the answers to your questions. So, Kevin, are you ready? Then let's have Kevin from My Protection First do his presentation. As I told you, it's a very innovative, simple, and sustainable technology that he's going to present. Let's listen